Welcome back. Well, many people are drawn to the Central Coast because of its proximity to the ocean and, of course, because of all the species that call it home. But people are also noticing less and less kelp in our ocean. KION's Courtney Aitken took a trip out in the water where she shows us how scuba divers are making a splash and helping change that.
When standing at Lovers Point Park in Pacific Grove, one can barely make out a bit of kelp sitting on top of the ocean in the distance. But a local group of scuba divers is more interested on what's going on below the surface. It's a cloudy Thursday morning aboard the Beach Waver 2, and a group of divers are on their way to Tankers Reef for a special mission.
We're having massive kelp deforestation in Monterey. The usual kelp forest that is usually here and is extensive is gone now, and it's because of multiple stressors. One
of the primary stressors is small, spiky, and comes in shades of purple and red.
We're talking about urchins.
An avid diver himself, Keith Rootsart is at the front lines of the giant kelp restoration project, a 3-year initiative that hopes to repair the effects of environmental stressors on the kelp forest, namely things like urchins.
There are urchins that are eating the kelp down there, and our project here is to go there and cull the urchins in this place so that the kelp can survive.
That's where the divers come in. The giant kelp restoration project has partnered with Bamboo Reef out of Monterey in order to curate a course that teaches divers how to help restore local kelp forests.
I thought that was the way to do it, to let the divers be ocean stewards, and let volunteer citizen science be what we do.
At the forefront of kelp restoration is a special method of removing the urchins, a process referred to as culling. It involves using a hammer in order to split the urchin in half.
It's just like an eggshell, and so you just kind of tap it, and you just tap, 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 tap.
Which prevents it from continuing to feed on kelp, while also providing other fish species with a source of food.
All the little fish come around and they eat that, whatever its remains are. The other urchins eat it too. No harm, no foul, and it nurtures this environment.
Divers who want to participate are required to undergo specific training. Back on land, Bamboo Reef's Tyler McKinney tells us what this training looks like.
I like to call it an intro to scientific diving course, sort of the nickname that I give it. So people can practice citizen science and actually go out and participate. You don't need a marine biology background. You just need to be a diver and have an interest in preserving our kelp forests.
As an instructor of the kelp restoration diving course, McKinney ensures that his students have a strong educational foundation before putting on a wetsuit. This involves a comprehensive online course and exam that divers must complete prior to showing up at the dock.
They come in with really good questions and a foundation, a basis of understanding through the e-learning that we give them ahead of time.
On this particular day, McKinney has 2 students who will be getting their kelp restoration diver certification. After a quick recap of their online learning, it's into the water, which seems to be everyone's favorite part.
And that's when I get the most joy out of it. It's really cool how you can see that look on their face, even through a scuba mask, their eyes wide, and they're pointing to it. And they're like, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, I saw that. Good job.
Even for more seasoned divers like Dane Kohler, this sense of wonder never seems to go away.
I've been diving since I was 12, so over 24 years now.
Kohler obtained his kelp restoration diver certification just last year.
This is my backyard, and I grew up diving here, so I think this is part of my community service, just kind of make sure that other people can enjoy it like I did, and it's been noticeable watching the kelp kind of recede in just the last 10 years or so.
Off of the coast of Pacific Grove in Otter Cove used to be a large kelp forest, but we're currently looking at all that is left of the kelp forest, and you can see that it isn't much. But what you can't see from the surface is the progress being made through urchin culling efforts next door at the Tankers Reef site.
Originally, when we came here, they measured it at being 7 urchins per square meter. And then in the course of 5 months and working all in this area, we reduced it down to 1.07 urchins per square meter. There's hundreds of species that live in a kelp forest. And with the lack of the kelp forest, those species have nowhere to go.
Now, the kelp restoration efforts here on California's Central Coast is just one of a handful of similar projects going on nationwide. But the progress that we've seen so far is just a preview of the positive impacts we could see in the future.
Well, locally, there are over 100 divers that have been certified in kelp restoration diving just in the past year. Stay with us. We'll be back.